The farm stood alone, isolated. It was a place where the silence was almost deafening, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves or the distant call of a bird. The isolation was both a blessing and a curse, providing a sanctuary from the outside world, but also creating an eerie sense of detachment. Surrounded by whispering fields of corn, these fields seemed to hold secrets of their own, their tall stalks swaying gently in the breeze, as if whispering tales of the past to anyone who would listen. This was Hinterkaifeck, a small farmstead nestled in the Bavarian countryside. It was a place that seemed frozen in time, where the modern world had not yet encroached, and life moved at a slower, more deliberate pace. It was home to the Gruber family, a family that, on the surface, appeared to be like any other. But beneath the surface, there were undercurrents of tension and sorrow. Andreas Gruber, the patriarch, was known as a stern and private man. His stern demeanor was a reflection of the hardships he had endured, and his private nature kept many of his thoughts and feelings hidden from those around him. His wife, Kazilia, was kind but burdened by tragedy. Her eyes, though kind, held a sadness that spoke of losses and hardships that had left their mark on her soul. Their daughter Victoria, a young widow, lived with them alongside her two children, Kazilia and Joseph. Victoria's life had been marked by loss, and she carried the weight of her past with a quiet strength that belied her gentle nature. Life on the farm was simple, quiet, too quiet perhaps. The daily routines of farm life provided a semblance of normalcy, but there was an underlying tension that was hard to ignore. The Grubers were not known for their sociability. They kept to themselves. Neighbors rarely saw them. Their reclusive nature only added to the air of mystery that surrounded them. Their isolation was a palpable thing. It was as if an invisible barrier separated them from the rest of the world, a barrier that few dared to cross. It hung over the farm like the smoke from its chimney. The smoke was a constant reminder of the life within, yet it also seemed to symbolize the secrets that lay hidden behind the farm's walls. A sense of foreboding permeated the air. It was a feeling that something was not quite right, a sense that something dark and sinister was lurking just out of sight. Something was about to happen, something terrible. The air was thick with anticipation, as if the very land itself was holding its breath, waiting for the inevitable storm to break. The first sign was the footprints. Strange footprints that seemed to appear out of nowhere, as if someone had materialized from thin air. They appeared in the snow leading to the farm, but none led away. It was as if the person had vanished into thin air, leaving behind only a trail of mystery. Andreas, troubled by the strange occurrences, found tracks in the attic. The dust on the floor was disturbed, showing signs of recent activity. But who could have been up there? He heard footsteps on the roof. The sound was unmistakable, echoing through the stillness of the night. It was as if someone was walking just above their heads, but no one was ever seen. Unexplained noises echoed through the house at night. Whispers, footsteps. The family was uneasy. Every creak and groan of the old house seemed amplified, filling them with a sense of dread. Then, the house key vanished. Andreas searched everywhere. It was gone. The key, which had always been in its place, had disappeared without a trace. Someone had entered the home, someone unseen. The door, which they always kept locked, was found slightly ajar one morning. It was as if an invisible intruder had come and gone at will. Days later, a local newspaper arrived. It was an ordinary paper, yet it felt out of place in their isolated world. It was addressed to Andreas. The name was clear, written in bold letters. But Andreas had never subscribed to any newspaper, a paper he had never subscribed to. Fear turned to dread. Something was terribly wrong. The headlines seemed to speak directly to their situation, as if the unseen force was sending them a message. An unseen force seemed to be closing in on the Gruber family. The sense of being watched, of not being alone, grew stronger with each passing day. Their isolated world, once peaceful, now felt like a trap. The farmhouse, which had been their sanctuary, now felt like a prison. The whispers in the wind carried a warning, a promise of something ominous yet to come. March 31st, 1922. A Friday. The day began like any other, with the promise of spring in the air, but it would end in a way no one could have foreseen. The sky was heavy with the threat of snow. Night fell over Hinterkaifeck, a small, isolated farmstead nestled in the Bavarian countryside. The air was thick with an eerie stillness, as if the world itself was holding its breath. Inside the farmhouse, the Gruber family went about their evening routine. Andreas Gruber, the patriarch, was a stern man, but he cared deeply for his family. His wife, Casilia, was a nurturing presence, always ensuring the household ran smoothly. Unaware of the horror that awaited them, they continued with their chores and preparations for the night. The children, Victoria and little Casilia, played quietly, their laughter a stark contrast to the impending doom. An intruder or intruders lurked in the shadows. They had been watching the family for days, perhaps even weeks, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Their motives shrouded in mystery, their faces forever hidden. The darkness concealed their intentions, leaving only fear and speculation in its wake. One by one, the family members were lured to the barn. First, Andreas and Casilia, then their daughter Victoria. Each step they took brought them closer to their fate, the barn becoming a silent witness to the unfolding tragedy. Little Casilia, sensing danger, fought back. Her instincts screamed at her to run, to hide, but there was nowhere to go. The walls of the farmhouse, once a sanctuary, now felt like a prison. Her tiny body was found clutching strands of hair, evidence of her desperate struggle, a heartbreaking testament to her bravery in the face of unimaginable terror. The killer, or killers, showed no mercy. They moved with cold precision, their actions calculated and ruthless. Each victim was dispatched with brutal efficiency. The farmhouse, once filled with life and laughter, was now a scene of unspeakable horror. Their skulls crushed by blows from a mattock. The family was gone. The silence that followed was deafening, a grim reminder of the violence that had just occurred. Annihilated in a single night of unimaginable violence, the darkness that descended upon Hinterkaifeck that night would never truly lift, leaving behind a legacy of fear and unanswered questions. Days turned into nights. The farm lay silent, the cattle lowed, unmilked. Smoke continued to rise from the chimney. Someone, it seemed, was still there. Neighbors, concerned by the family's absence, finally investigated. They made a gruesome discovery. The bodies of the Gruber family, along with their maid, Maria Baumgartner, were found piled together in the barn. They had been covered with hay, a makeshift burial for a family wiped from existence. The scene was horrific, a bloodbath that defied explanation. Who could have committed such a heinous act, and why? The Hinterkaifeck murders sent shockwaves through Germany. The brutality of the crime, the isolation of the farm, the complete lack of motive. It was a mystery that gripped the nation. Investigators descended upon the farm, searching for clues, searching for answers. They found the murder weapon, a mattock, left at the scene. They found signs of a struggle, but the killer, or killers, had vanished, leaving behind a chilling tableau of violence. The house was eerily undisturbed. Food sat on the table, beds were slept in. It was as if someone had been living at the farm, someone who had shared a roof with the dead. Section 6. The Labyrinth of Suspects. The investigation became a tangled web. Theories abound, each more outlandish than the last. The former maid, who had left the farm months earlier claiming it was haunted, fell under suspicion. Had she returned to exact revenge, or was there another explanation? A love affair gone wrong, a robbery gone too far. A roving band of robbers was considered, as were disgruntled former farmhands. Even Victoria's husband, long dead, was dragged into the narrative. Rumors swirled of family secrets and hidden resentments. The investigation, however, yielded no concrete answers. The killer, or killers, remained shrouded in shadow, their motives as elusive as the footprints in the snow. Section 7. Dead Ends and Whispered Theories. Years passed. The Hinterkaifeck murders became a cold case. The file, though, never closed. Amateur sleuths and armchair detectives continued to pore over the details, desperate to find a solution to the puzzle. Each new generation offered fresh perspectives. New theories emerged. Some whispered of ghosts and vengeful spirits. Others pointed to possible cover-ups and conspiracies. The truth, however, remained elusive, buried beneath layers of speculation and conjecture. The Hinterkaifeck murders became a dark legend, a chilling reminder of the evil that can lurk in the shadows. Section 8. The enigma endures. Today, the farm at Hinterkaifeck is gone. Demolished a year after the murders, as if to erase the horrors that transpired there. But the memory of that night in 1922 lingers. The case continues to fascinate and frustrate in equal measure. It stands as a stark reminder of the darkness that can reside in the human heart. The Hinterkaifeck murders remain unsolved, a testament to the enduring power of mystery, a chilling reminder that some secrets refuse to be unearthed. Perhaps the truth lies buried beneath the rubble of the farmhouse, or perhaps it is lost to the passage of time. Section 9. Hinterkaifeck, a warning from the past. The story of the Gruber family is a tragedy, a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the darkness that can lurk in the most unexpected places. It is a story that continues to haunt us, not just for the brutality of the crime, but for the mystery that surrounds it. The Hinterkaifeck murders serve as a warning from the past, a reminder that evil can wear many faces, and that even in the most isolated corners of the world, no one is truly safe. The case remains a stark reminder that some questions may never have answers, and that some wounds never truly heal.